The Iranian air defenses are not very sophisticated, but once they get the S-300, the Russian anti-aircraft missiles, it is obvious that it would cause damage to the Israeli attack, and some Israeli pilots would not return homes, and the airplanes would be shot down. So that's why Israel is trying to say to the Russians, don't deliver them.
In any future battle, should it happen, it will not be about weapons, and in particular the S-300 alone, the acquisition of which I do not consider as unlikely.
The S-300 is one of the most advanced multi-target all-altitude missile defense systems in the world today. Air power experts say it represents a formidable defense against conventional aircraft. Recep Savarov, here on the right, heads a parliamentary committee on Russian-Iranian relations and was an advisor to former President Vladimir Putin. He believes any strikes against Iranian nuclear facilities would be a strike against Russian interests.
Я полагаю, что Россия несет ответственность за свой объект в первую очередь.
I think Russia, above all else, must assume responsibility for its own projects. If, after 12 years, Russia is unable to protect its interest, and if Iran's enemies are able to destroy, in an instant, a target that has cost millions of dollars, and destroy with it Iran's ability to prosper and develop, then that will be detrimental to both Russia's interest and its global prestige.
In mid-February 2009, Iranian Defense Minister General Mustafa Mohammad-Najjar visited Moscow to discuss the delivery of the S-300 missile system to the Islamic Republic. The Iranians were keen to implement the deal they believed was signed and sealed, but the Russians were stalling.
And the truth is that, on the other hand, the Iranians are begging the Russians, please give it to us, and the Russians are at the moment undecided. They are indecisive. They are talking in two voices. They are promising to the Iranians, we would deliver it because they have a contract, an agreement. And they are saying to the Israelis, we would not.
According to Iran's former Minister of Defense, there is no question of Russia reneging on its commitment to sell Iran the S-300 missile system. Rear Admiral Ali Shamkhani is someone who is well placed to comment on Iran's military capabilities.
Everyone in the world follows his own interests. We've received a sophisticated defense system from Russia, the Tor system. We have this, and we also have our own technical capabilities based on domestic production. And Russia is a country that is a factor in these equations, and it has its own interests.
Several weeks before the February visit of the current Iranian defense minister to Russia, this man was on an assignment in Moscow. Retired Israeli General Amos Gilad's mission was to dissuade Russia from selling its missile defense systems to Iran. Gilad followed in the footsteps of Ehud Olmert, who had visited Moscow when he was the interim Israeli Prime Minister in October 2008. Olmert met Russian leaders to pressure them against the sale of the S-300 system to Iran. And Ehud Barak, Israel's Minister of Defense, visited Moscow shortly after the Iranian defense minister. The Kremlin was hosting a succession of Israeli officials, as well as American diplomats, all attesting to the growing jitters in Israel and the West over Russia's possible sale of the S-300 to Tehran.
I think the American and Israeli visits to Russia, just a week after General Mustafa Mohammad-Najjar's visit, succeeded in persuading the Russian government to postpone selling the defense system to Iran. Is a conundrum. There's a signed deal and agreement to deploy the defense system, but it was not sent.
Washington and Tel Aviv won't allow the S-300 missiles to be sent to Iran. This system is in high demand both in the Islamic and the Arab world. It would be difficult to satisfy and fulfill that demand. But if the government wanted to, they could, by postponing some contracts and rushing through others to countries in imminent danger or with hostile neighbors.
For now, any deal to deliver the S-300 system to Iran remains on hold. General Ivashov believes this is due to a powerful Israeli influence on Russian decision-making.
Произраильское лобби и в правительстве России, и в политической части.
There is an Israeli lobby operating within the Russian government and in the Russian community.
Возникает, как бы вполне естественно.
Whenever there are discussions to send weapons to Syria or Iran, the pressure mounts on Moscow, be it political, economical, or even in the media. That is pressure the government can't handle.
Или всегда наша власть это давление выдержит.